key characteristics of taxation is, see this, we have legislative inherent sovereignty and legislative exclusivity with exceptions provided by Constitution. The Constitution, therefore, is providing limits and also exceptions. So the powers lodged exclusively to the legislature, meaning only the lawmaking body can impose. Third is the subject to limitation. So we have two limitations in here. First is the inherent limitations, and plus the constitutional limitation. But I think we have to consider also the one of the canons of sound tax system is the theoretical justice. Theoretical justice is also used to declare in the validity of the tax or not. Theoretical justice or ability to pay. But the theories behind this one is also or have been covered by the inherent limitation and the constitutional limitation, because theoretical justice is talking about the due process, about the based on its ability to pay. So it relates to the due process, that it must not be confiscatory, it must not be oppressive, and not arbitrary. So therefore it covers this. Actually, the points that are raised, that are listed in the inherent limitations, also constitutional limitations, they have some similarities actually, or some relationship. And likewise in the canons of sound tax system. In the canons of sound tax system, only this is used for to invalidate the tax law or validate the tax law, this theoretical justice and ability to pay. So therefore I consider this one as the third one of the source of the limitation of the tax power or taxation power. The nature of taxation is the power of taxation is defined by immense scope and fundamental role in the governments. Because of its necessity and its lifeblood doctrine that the government cannot function without the taxation, so they came up with the nature of taxation like it is plenary. So in order to realize the purpose of taxation, that it can support the government, because the people needs the government to exercise its function, and the government needs taxation in order to support the need financials to exercise its function. So it became now a plenary. It's like complete within its sphere. Like in order to collect taxes, it has all the means necessary and ways necessary to collect those taxes. So they can assess, they can collect in the form of money. If you don't have money, they can go to levy your real property, or they can execute the strength of your personal properties. So therefore, that's how they describe the plenary of this taxation. Then also, as attribute to the sovereignty, it is presumed to exist without the need of a specific grant. Okay, because of that. Then, well, this is repeatedly emphasized that it is inherent with the existence of the state. So therefore, because of its essentiality, okay, and it needs no constitutional grant to exercise. So I'm going to repeat that the legislature has broad discretion to determine the subjects. They can determine the subjects, the objects, amount, purposes. It's broad. Okay, that's why it is unlimited in scope. Okay, yun yung sabi dito. That's why only the Constitution can set limits and the inherent, and also the canons, as I said. And two is, it is comprehensive. It is cover all persons, businesses, professions, etc. As I said, we have persons, we have right that can be impose subject to tax, and we have the last one is the property. Now, under the right to earn, right to conduct business, right to transfer property, that's part of this right. So we call this one as excise tax. When it's excise tax, tax that is imposed on the right, and we had a lot of this. Income tax is an excise tax. Okay, percentage tax, but they are excise tax. Okay, so on and so forth. Marami pa yan. So it extends to every aspect of the civil life, ensuring that the burden of the supporting the government is shared. Yun yung apportionment of the burden. Doon sa definition natin. Okay. So there are ways the tax administration or tax laws naman, they define about the ways of imposing the burden by way of in relation to the benefits that you receive from the government. So example of that is sa vehicle, like for example, road, highways, ang pwedeng gumamit yan, ang nag-enjoy talaga, enjoyed with vehicle. Okay. So, para yung mga vehicles na yan, so pag mamayari, may mga owners that are enjoying with the use of the road highways. So, not everybody can use the road highways, but those who have 4 wheels, right? Okay. Now, in order that the government can impose more taxes on them who are enjoying the use of the road, kasi yung mga walang may kaya 4 wheels like mga bicycles, they're not allowed to use the highways. So, in order to impose more taxes to those who are enjoying the road or the highways, they impose taxes on gasoline. Yun yung VAT. So, sa gasoline, doon sila sisingil. So, the more that you enjoy the road, the more that you pay for the gasoline, the more that you're paying for the VAT. So, in that way, the government, with relation to the benefits received by the taxpayer from the government, they also pay, or the government has able to impose more taxes to them who enjoy more than the other. Okay? I hope you follow. And yeah, third is awesome. It has the power to destroy. But there is a reconciliation of this. Later on, we can discuss this one. Taxation is a potent tool. If exercised without restraint, it has the capacity to burden property and industries to the point of destruction. However, the nature is balanced by the principle that the power of the tax is not the power to destroy, while the Supreme Court sees. Yun yung sabi ni Judge. I'm not sure if that is Judge Holmes. Meaning the judiciary serves as the check against the arbitrary and confiscatory abuse. Again, it may result in power to destroy. However, if all the laws and the constitutional limits and inherent limits are followed, and also the theoretical justice, it may justify the formulation of the tax law or the imposition of the tax law. So there's a reconciliation of that, and we can discuss that later. Okay, so that's all for these two, this nature of taxation and the key characteristics of taxation.